Good afternoon. The Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, has denied allegations that she misled the public about the state of the economy before the budget. The leader of the Conservatives, Kemi Badenoch, says Miss Reeves painted an overly bleak picture of the public finances as a smokescreen for tax rises, even though she knew that figures had improved. Our political correspondent Harry Farley reports.
Cast your minds back. 3 weeks before the budget, the Chancellor broke into breakfast TV and radio with an unusual Downing Street press conference and warnings about the UK economy.
My second budget. That means taxes are going up again, doesn't it?
Then she told 5 Live sticking to Labour's promises on tax would require cuts to infrastructure spending.
I have been really clear that we are looking at both taxes and spending as well.
Channel 94.
Now, it emerges that picture was not as gloomy as many thought, and it leaves Rachel Reeves facing uncomfortable questions.
We know now you'd been told you had an extra $4 billion to play with. It wasn't true to say that, was it? Was it a lie?
I didn't have an extra $4 billion to play with. There was a downgrade in the headroom from $9.9 billion to $4.2 billion. But I was very clear in that speech on the 4th of November. I didn't want to have less headroom. I wanted to have more headroom.
Her argument that she wanted to set more aside for a rainy day to stabilise the economy means increased taxes, after Labour promised not to put them up on working people.
You have broken that promise, have you not?
Well, I was really upfront in my speech, both in the budget this week and also on the 6th of November.
So let's be upfront now. You've broken that promise, haven't you?
Well, I have asked people to make a contribution. We didn't break the manifesto. We haven't broken the manifesto because that's explicitly said about the rates. But am I asking working people to pay a bit more? Yes, I am asking working people to pay a bit more.
Are you saying
I
to people...
have been clear and honest about that.
The Conservatives have called for an investigation, claiming what the Chancellor said before the budget was different from what the watchdog, the OBR, had told her, and that misled the markets.
The Chancellor called an emergency press conference, telling everyone about how terrible the state of the finances were, and now we have seen that the OBR had told her the complete opposite. She was raising taxes to pay for welfare. The only thing that was unfunded was the welfare payments which she has made, and she's doing it on the backs of a lot of people out there who are working very hard and getting poorer. And because of that, I believe she should resign.
There is no sign of that for now. Rachel Reeves and Sir Keir Starmer's political fates are tied together. Tomorrow, he will give a speech defending the budget and focusing on what Labour sees as the popular measures on cutting energy bills. Landing that message is key to turning around their political fortunes.
Well, Harry joins me now in the studio. You mentioned in your report there the challenges they've got to turn around their political fortunes. We're going to hear from the Prime Minister tomorrow. What are we expecting from that?
So the Prime Minister is going to give a speech in Downing Street tomorrow, defending the budget, defending Rachel Reeves. As I say, their political fates very much tied together. And I suppose the challenge with this budget, it was very popular with Labour MPs, less so with the public, according to some initial polls. You have to be a bit careful, but certainly those big policies like removing the 2-child cap on benefits, not well liked, including by many Labour voters. And that's the key challenge. This was a budget that was well liked by Labour MPs. That was needed because of some of the questions that were being asked about Sir Keir Starmer's and Rachel Reeves' leadership. But now, with the budget behind them, the focus in government and among Labour MPs will very quickly turn to those difficult May elections in Scotland, Wales and English local councils. And unless the Prime Minister can turn around those popularity ratings, those questions from Labour MPs will come back very quickly indeed.
OK, Harry, thank you very much for that. At least 4 people have been killed in a shooting at a child's birthday party in California. 10 others were injured in the incident at a restaurant yesterday evening in the city of Stockton. The suspect remains at large. Police believe the shooting may have been targeted. Monsoons exacerbated by tropical storms have caused some of the worst floods in years across Asia. Millions are affected across the region, with hundreds dead. The Indonesian island of Sumatra has been severely hit, with more than 440 people now known to have died and several cities unreachable, as Joe Winwood now reports.
First came the rain, then the mudslides. There was little the people of Sumatra could do to protect themselves. From above, you get a sense of the scale of the devastation. from the ground the impact it has had on individual lives. Maria was swept from her home and left injured in the streets by the relentless waters, while others have lost everything.
During the flood, everything was gone. I wanted to save my clothes, but my house came down. It was swept away. I couldn't save anything, not one thing.
This was the result of monsoon rains made worse by a tropical storm called Cyclone Senyar, causing some of the worst flooding Southeast Asia has seen in years. Rescuers have tried to save people, but bad weather's made an already difficult task far harder. Pressure is mounting on the government to declare a national disaster and do more to help. Although the death toll is highest in Indonesia, there has also been significant flooding and loss of life in Thailand and Malaysia. This was the moment a Thai rescue boat sank in the swollen waters. The crew were eventually rescued. While in Sri Lanka, a different cyclone called Ditwa has had similar results. Hundreds are dead or missing, tens of thousands left homeless, hundreds of thousands without power. The government has called for international aid and asked Sri Lankans abroad to send money. These events, which were once described as once in a century, increasingly seem a reality of life. Joe Inwood, BBC News.
Ukrainian officials are set to meet the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Florida later to continue their talks on a White House plan to end the war with Russia. As the conflict does continue on, a Russian missile struck a residential building on the outskirts of the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, overnight. Local officials say one person was killed and 11 injured, including a child. Plans to temporarily house more than 500 single male asylum seekers at a military barracks in East Sussex look set to be delayed. The news comes as many people took to the streets this weekend to protest against the proposals. Well, the men are due to be housed at an army training camp on the outskirts of Crowborough for about a year, according to the Home Office. The government's confirmed it will announce major changes to the criminal justice system in England and Wales this week, including a reduction in the number of trials heard by a jury. The Justice Secretary David Lammy says once-in-a-generation reforms are needed to clear the huge backlog of cases which has built up in the courts. Now, the Knives Out films have revitalised the classic murder mystery with their star-studded cast, led of course by British star Daniel Craig. Well, the final instalment in the trilogy, Wake Up Dead Man, is out now, with one of the key roles going to the church in Essex. Our reporter Laura Foster explains.
I don't understand this case.
The knives are out once again. In Wake Up Dead Man, Daniel Craig is joined by the likes of Glenn Close, Josh O'Connor, Mila Kunis, and many more. But sharing the screen with these stars is a small church in Epping Forest.
There are rumours that the forest is haunted.
In Wake Up Dead Man, Holy Innocents Church in High Beach doubles for one in upstate New York.
Over there, round the back of the church.
And they used almost every part of the church for filming because it plays such a key role in the plot.
From the previous two films, there's always a central point, a central location to where events unfold. And the first one was the house, the second one was that island, and this one is the church and its surroundings.
Okay, you're freaking me out now.
Considering the whole of London gets so busy with filming nowadays, because there is so much of it. So it's great to bring films back to Essex and this county and this area.
I'm incapable of not solving a crime.
So this is the inside of the church, and you won't see this in the film. But it did have a crucial role in it. That's because this was the green room for all the actors, where they would come to prepare, rehearse lines, before they go outside and shoot the scene. Sadly, this was the closest that BBC News could get to the filming, which took place in summer last year.
It was such an extraordinary event to take part in.
But Reverend Jane Needham was luckier.
It was like central London, it felt like. I mean, normally we're very quiet round here.
A big fan of the series. She was so keen to be on set, she kind of had it written into the contract.
There was a point where Mila Kunis was in the church and it rapidly became apparent she thought I was an extra. But when she found out I was the minister, so funny, she was just so mortified.
We don't know how much the church was paid for its starring role, as that information is commercially sensitive. But we do know it's helped pay for some long-needed repairs.
This church is beautiful, but she's listed and she's expensive to maintain. So we've been able to completely restore the wall and recast all the ironwork. And so it's complete for the first time in many, many years. That's been the gift of them being here, is that the church will be able to be maintained long into the future.
Now, who wants to go first?
But Jane says she's just looking forward to watching the film as a whole, as up till now, she's only seen odd scenes. Laura Foster, BBC News.
Before we go, West Ham legend Billy Bonds has died at the age of 79. He was the club's record appearance maker, playing 799 times for the Hammers, who captained them to 2 FA Cup wins in 1975 and 1980. His family paid tribute to him, saying he was the most kind, loyal, selfless and loving person. That's all from me and the team. You can catch me on the BBC News channel throughout the afternoon. The next news here on BBC One is at 5:05. Bye for now.